What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Devin. I am a bridal makeup artist and just makeup lover and beauty enthusiast in general. I love everything about it. So I hope that you will consider sticking around and subscribing. And if you're not new, as always, welcome back. You know I love you. All right, kids, mob wife makeup trend. Let's freaking do it. I have to tell you, I have not been this excited about a TikTok makeup trend in a long time. I do feel like we were in the clean girl era, and I did film a video with that, but I just, even when I go back and look at it, I don't like it. I got too much hair to slick back in a bun. I look like a founding father with my hair slick back like this. It's not my vibe. It's not my aesthetic. I got into makeup and YouTube back in the 2016, 2017 era, which it's crazy to me to think that that's nostalgic now. Somebody asked me recently, how do you feel about 2016 full glam makeup coming back? And I'm like, well, to me, it never left. I've always been a full glam girl. So having an excuse to do this, I mean, I don't need an excuse for full glam, but the fact that it's trending, I'm here for it. So we are gonna do the mob wife inspired makeup trend today. I'm gonna use my ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette. I just feel like this is the perfect palette for this kind of look. So stay tuned and let's get into the makeup look right now. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna do our eyes first. And this, of course, is going to be the Dev Greg's take on the mob wife look. So tapes are required. So I'm just taking a look straight on in my mirror, eyeballing them to make sure that they are as even as possible. I think this one needs to come up a little bit, angle up a little bit more. This is going to be a very dark, dramatic look. So it's just, that's gonna make it more obvious when we take the tapes off if the angle is uneven. All right, let's get the brows on first before we clean up underneath. So I'm gonna use my NYX Fill and Fluff. This is in the shade Ash Brown. And look at how cute this little thing is. I bought this a while ago to test it out and then I forgot I had it. What I do worry about is this is not really sharpenable, so when it's not pointy anymore, I might not love it. So not worrying about being too neat with that right off the bat because I am going to clean them up with concealer in just a minute. So just getting a little bit of concealer on the back of my hand, taking my brow brush. This is the Zoeva 322 brow line brush. And then taking my beauty blender and just smoothing out those harsh lines because we're gonna do some eye primer right on top. So I just don't want the concealer and the eye primer to clump together, you know? P. Louise eye base, nothing new here. And we're just gonna apply that all over each of our lids. Now for the fun part. So I have watched exactly 2 videos on this trend. One was Michaela's TikTok and the other one was Brianna Fox's YouTube video. And both of them went for cool tone to smoky glam for this. And I have to say, I tend to agree. So I am going to pull out my ColourPop Stone Cold Fox. This palette is just such a vibe. So obviously I'm going to put my twist on this look. So I am just taking a fluffy eyeshadow brush and I'm gonna pick up the shade Luxe and I'm just gonna use that to set down the primer. Like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a very dark, dramatic, smoky look. But that being said, I do want to build it up and anchor it with some neutrals in the crease before we go in with the dramatic stuff. So I'm going to take the shade Trip and we're just going to start light here and work our way up. So getting that on a nice big fluffy brush and I'm just going to start working that through the crease. And since this shade is pretty light, I'm going to blend it up pretty high onto my brow bone because I have a lot of space here and I don't want this to be white. Okay, so that color is really light even on my light skin tone. I don't have a self tan or anything going today. It's a little bit more pronounced in person, but I can see in the viewfinder it's barely reading on camera. So I'm just gonna come right down to the color right underneath Quarry Days, and this is a Sigma E40 brush, and we're gonna immediately start deepening that up a little bit. Cool, so that is already giving me a little bit more of the definition and the depth that I want. So we're headed in the right direction. Now, time to go for it. So I'm gonna take this shade Cult Classic down here, and this is on this is an e.l.f. brush. It just says e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. Something a little bit more flat that's gonna help me pack in the shadow on the lid. And I'm just gonna start doing one of these. I am hesitant to put a dark shadow all over the lid like this because I do have deep set eyes. So, you know, looks like this will push my eye farther back into my head. So normally I do like a nice bright shimmer on the lid to open my eye up, but again, we're doing it for the vibes here. We're doing it for the look. So let's just go for it. If we're gonna do it, let's do it, you know? So just tapping that all over right up to my crease. And then I might even just use the top of the brush to wiggle it through the crease a little bit so we don't have as much of a harsh line. And then, of course, you can always take one of your blending brushes, no extra product on it, and just soften that crease, soften those harsh lines a little bit more. You wanna be careful because when you're using dark shadows, the dark shadow can kind of go all over the place and mess you up a little bit. We don't want that. But that being said, we also do want a nice gradient from dark to light. So I was thinking I was gonna take this shade Drama Mama, but I think we're gonna full send it, and instead we're gonna take the deep matte black called Rock Bottom. Gonna get that on just like a little brush like this. A lot of my brushes don't have names, guys, so sorry. I put all my good brushes in my professional kit, and then I save my like not as good brushes for myself. So this is gonna be our outer corner. So just tapping that in and trying to keep it concentrated right in this little triangle in the outer corner here. And this is just gonna help us kick it up one more notch. And then I'm gonna take a clean blending brush. This is a Sigma E25. A little bit more of a taper to it, not as full and fluffy. So this will help me blend that line right there in the outer corner without the color going everywhere, basically. So I'm just spending a little bit of time really working that in and building it up to the depth that I want. And the nice thing about the tapes is you can kind of make a mess on them. And then when we take the tapes off, it's gonna look really crisp. So the looks that I've seen for this have been all matte, but I do feel like my version of a Mob Wife makeup would definitely have a shimmer in it. So I'm gonna take this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow. This is in the shade I Heart This, and it is an ultra glitter formula. So I'm just gonna get it on my finger because that is the best way to apply these. And I'm just gonna tap this all over the lid, just for a little something. You know, not too much, just a little. So now that we've pretty much like slapped the look on, I do think before we take the tapes off and move on to the face, I want to take a little bit more of that first color that we were using, Trip, on that same fluffy brush, and just make sure that those colors are still peeking out above the darker colors now that we've blended the look up and out. Hope that makes sense. All right, now one of my favorite parts. Let's take the tapes off. See what I mean? Never gets old. I love it. Love. Let's get a makeup wipe and just clean up underneath. Okay, so for complexion, I'm gonna try to talk you through this pretty quickly. I feel like when I'm explaining the eyes, especially for looks like this, it's very in-depth and I'm explaining a lot, and then I end up talking a lot and my videos end up being super long. So we're gonna speed through the complexion a little bit. I'm not gonna talk too much about what I'm doing. I'm just gonna kind of tell you and show you. So first I'm gonna take my e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. Normally I like a nice juicy primer, but I don't feel like a Mob Wife has like glowy skin. You know what I mean? I do feel like she's more matte, but still with the contour, you know? For foundation, I have been using this a ton. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. The shade 4 Neutral is a perfect match for my natural skin tone when I don't have any self-tan going on. I'm just getting that on my Sigma F80 and working that into the brush and then all over my skin. And I'll touch up my brows at the end, so I'm not super worried about them, but you do want to be careful just around your eyeshadow. We do have a nice crisp line here, so we just want to make sure that we're maintaining it and not like sticking our foundation brush right on top of it. And down the neck a little bit too. For concealer, I think this might be a little bit too dark for me right now because I don't have a tan. This is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Porcelain. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of that under here, but then I'm gonna use my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Fair Beige. This one is pretty bright for me, so I feel like just mixing the two underneath my eyes will help me have like a bright but not too bright look. Oh, you know what? I've been doing my I forgot. I've been doing my cream bronzer first actually, and then concealer on top. That's been my new routine, but I totally just forgot and reverted to my old ways of doing concealer first. So this is already on my face, so we're gonna blend it out. Oh, and I forgot. Oh my gosh. I'm like forgetting all the new little things I've been doing with my makeup and liking. I actually have been blending my concealer out with this. This is the Real Techniques Brightening Concealer brush. I picked up a couple of these to test out in my kit after I saw just so many makeup artists on Instagram using this brush, and I do like it. I mean, look at how smoothly that blended out my concealer. It's really nice. Okay, cream bronzer. We are going to use the LYS No Limits bronzing stick in the shade Harmony. We're going to use very light hand because this thing is so pigmented and I'm not tan right now. So I'm going to use even less than I normally do. So again, just taking the time to sculpt here. I feel like a mob wife is probably not like super blushy and glowy, but she's definitely bronzed and sculpted. I feel like she's somebody who would really want to emphasize her bone structure and also probably has a lot of filler and Botox. You can also always take your foundation brush and go over everything when you're doing your cream contour, just to make sure that everything is nice and seamless. It just kind of tones it back a little bit so that it's not like in your face, you know? All right, setting powder. I'm just gonna take my Anastasia translucent loose setting powder. So just dipping my beauty blender in there, tapping a little bit of the excess off on the back of my hand and setting. Before the puffs were a thing, this is what the makeup girlies did. You know, we just dipped our beauty blenders into our setting powder to set our under eyes. Okay, so I kind of get that like where I want it. Oh my gosh, I made kind of a mess on my forehead. So I kind of get that where I want it with the sponge, and then I'll just take whatever's left in the cap on a powder brush and just dust it over the rest of my face to make sure that we're set everywhere. All right, we're looking nice and smooth. So I'm gonna take my powder bronzer now. This is the Makeup by Mario Light Medium Soft Sculpt. Yes, Soft Sculpt bronzer. So just sweeping that right over top of where we already placed our cream bronzer. I like to go under my chin as well. Okay, so like I said, I did watch Michaela's TikTok on this, and she said no highlighter in her video, and I kind of agree with that. Like I mentioned earlier, I just feel like a mob wife is not like a glowy, blushy, pretty pink princess type of gal. So that being said, I pulled out this like cool tone blush from ColourPop. This is the Flirt Alert Pressed Powder Blush. It's a nice cool tone blush and it's not too dark, you can see. So I think it'll pair really well with this look and still give us some color on the cheeks without the blush being like the focal point of the face, you know? So I am picking that up on a Sigma F40. And here I go, doing a lot more blush than I think a mob wife would wear. But I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that because I do feel like she's a full dramatic glam type of girl. So maybe she would wear a lot of blush. Okay, let's get some lashes on. So I brought two of my go-to favorites. I have the Eyelure Luxe Silk in the style Marquise, which are nice and big and fluffy and dramatic. I also have my House of Lashes Iconic Lights. I feel like, so these are more of a rounded lash that are biggest in the center. These have more of that tapered like wingy effect, which I feel like is going to complement the shape of this look better. So I think we're gonna go with these. So I'm just getting my black lash glue on here. This is the Kiss Lash Couture Super Strong. And then I'm just fanning it to get the glue tackier a little bit quicker. And I'm gonna stick these puppies on. All right, let's get some mascara on now. And just on the top for now, just to blend my natural lashes in. Cool E-O. Okay, all right, you guys. So we definitely need to do the lower lash line. I feel like this is too much going on up top to leave the bottom bare. I mean, if you want to, you can, but we're not gonna do that today. So, should we do black eyeliner? I guess, right? Let's do it. Can we just look at this baby girl just lounging back here? Look at her. Are you comfy? Are you comfy? comfy, Nappa? Okay, you just keep sleeping, bunny rabbit. This dog, I'm telling you. So this is my Too Faced Killer Liner in the shade Black. We're just getting that in the waterline. Okay, this is a Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH46. Do I dare? Do I dare go in with this matte black? I think I do. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of that on the tip of this brush. We're gonna start small and work it up, okay? So using something like this will help you get tight to the lash line. So I am just going to start tapping that in just below the waterline. And I actually might not bring this all the way in. I might just keep this in the very outer, like 2/3. So stopping like right where my pupil is in the center of my eye. Now coming into the shade Cult Classic, and this is my Sigma E36. It's a nice tiny little blending brush. And we're just gonna smoke out this lower lash line with that color. So I'm being very careful not to take it too far out past the outer corner because I don't wanna lose this nice straight line. I feel like I'm taking more of my blend more in the center of my eye and not as much out here. So can you guys see the difference between this eye and this eye? How we've just like smoked it out real nice. All right, you guys, we are almost there. So we just have lips left. So I'm just gonna wipe off any remaining lip mask that I still have on my lips because we want our lips to be hydrated, but if you have anything too slippy underneath, it'll be harder to apply your lip liner and your lipstick. And my camera's about to die, so let me switch the battery. So I want nude. I don't want a dark lip or anything like that, but I want, you know, not too warm because it's a cool tone look, but I still want the drama. So I brought a whole bunch of lip products and I hope that this works out in reality the way that it's going to work in my head. So I am going to start with the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade Beeper. I'm gonna see if this does what I want and then I'll play with it if I don't get the result that I want. And we are definitely overlining. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was nervous that that wasn't gonna have the depth that I wanted, but I think it does. And I think that the undertone of this lip goes really well with the undertone of this look. So we're on the right track, that's good. I'm curious if this is gonna be a little bit too, like the packaging looks cool tone, but I feel like when I just swatched on my hand, it looked a little warm, but this is the Milani, I always forget what these are called. It's like their matte lipsticks that were really popular a while ago, and it's in the shade Pleasure. So I'm gonna start going over that lip liner with this. It's a hair lighter. I feel like it might not even be picking up on camera as well as it is in person. I don't feel like this is a look that warrants like a glossy lip. So you really got to build the dimensional lip with the matte lipsticks. So I need something else. Or do I just leave it? Do I want to lighten this up? I said I wanted drama, you know? I said I wanted drama. But I almost feel like I don't have to lighten this up. I feel like I can just leave this lip like this. Yeah? I think we can. I think we can. Let's not overdo it. Let's not overdo it. We've already done a lot. All right, to finish things off, I'm gonna show you guys my setting spray combo. Oops, I broke the cap on this one, but I have this combo in my kits. My Pro Kit as well, and I have been putting this on pretty much everybody to varying degrees depending on their skin type, and it's really been working. So first I like to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is like a stay all day, party all night type of thing, but this one is a lot more hydrating. So I will use this to kind of melt the makeup into the skin and absorb some of the powderiness. And then this is what is gonna like glue it to your face. So I'm gonna do a couple sprays of this to start. And I'm gonna fan that. And then once that feels dry, I'll go in with One Size Beauty on Till Dawn and just really lock everything in. Shake it up, and this is like your hairspray for the face. If you're into makeup at all and you don't live under a rock, you've already heard of this, but you know. I was late to the game, so I really like it. All right, let's get these clips out and just get the full vibe here. I feel like I need to change my first name. I mean, my last name's Gregorio, right? That's pretty Italian, but I feel like I need to change my first name. My first name's Irish. I feel like I need to change it to something more Italian. All right, my friends, here we are. finished look. What are your thoughts? Are we vibing with it? It is 1:15 on a Tuesday when I am doing my makeup like this, but I am here for it because I feel like that is what a mob wife would do. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. She's in full glam. Doesn't matter where she's going. Doesn't matter what she's doing. This is the look. Like, this is the everyday makeup look. I don't know. I don't know anything about the actual mob wife lifestyle, but this is what I imagine. So I clearly had a lot of fun filming this look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There is nothing like a good old-fashioned makeup tutorial. I love it. And I just feel like, especially with all this hype about like 2016 makeup coming back, you know, you TikTokers, I have a feeling you're all gonna be coming to YouTube soon. I'm predicting it. I think that not that people have left YouTube, I've never left YouTube, like my consumption of YouTube. I still love the long form content. They're coming out with the ability to film like 10-minute videos now on TikTok. So I'm like, that's basically YouTube. So I feel like I can feel the pendulum swinging back a little bit to full glam makeup, old school tutorials, and long form content. I'm here for it because that is what I've always loved. I've never strayed from that, and I'm here for it. So I hope you guys like this video. I do highly recommend this palette if you don't already own it. It is worth it, even though it's not new and bright and shiny anymore. You know, it's not the latest and greatest, but it's still pretty good. Still the greatest. Okay, with all of that being said, I'm gonna stop rambling. That is gonna be the end of this video. If you have made it this far, one, thank you. Thank you for getting here with me and staying till the end. But two, if you have not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any future uploads from me. Expect a lot more. Expect a lot more from me. I'm taking YouTube really seriously this year. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say for now. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, I am at glambydevyngregorio. That is my professional bridal makeup artist Instagram. So you'll see a lot of my bridal work. You'll see a lot of my client work. You'll see a little bit of me on there as well, but it's definitely mostly my client stuff. I also am at glambydevyngregorio on TikTok. However, we'll catch up on TikTok eventually, but you're not gonna find much there if you follow me there right now. Maybe in the future. Anyway, that's where you can find me if you are interested. And yeah, I love you so much, and I'll catch you in my next one. Mwah. Love you. Bye.